Mainstream media is collapsing.
Look, we can't say we didn't see this coming, but I certainly didn't see it coming this soon, this fast. And it was like 7.5 minutes after they launched it. Okay, we gotta shut it down. It's the worst thing anybody's ever seen ever.
Do you have the ratings?
Yeah, Joy Reid is down 54.6%.
Oh,
at the top of the list.
Oh, no.
They're collapsing.
Total.
So much collapse.
I'm going to buy it. I'll throw in 500 grand. 500 grand, I'll buy MSNBC. Like, all right, why not? Let's see what happens.
People just don't trust CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, or any of the old legacy media gatekeepers anymore. So, meet Aaron Parnas, one of the biggest names in independent media.
We have some breaking news. Donald Trump has announced that the United States will begin selling, quote, gold cards in lieu of green cards. We have some big news right now coming out of Chicago, where there was a near miss at Chicago's Midway Airport between two planes. We have some news right now. The screens at the Department of Housing and Urban Development were hacked this morning to show an image of Donald Trump kissing Elon Musk's feet.
Aaron's numerous breaking news segments throughout the day is broadcasted to his millions of followers on TikTok and Instagram. But here is the catch. And if you've been paying attention, you might have already noticed it. Aaron Parnas isn't actually independent, and there is no new media revolution. It's all just a massive hoodwink. For decades, traditional legacy newsrooms have operated on a simple but rigorous model. It starts with field reporters, boots on the ground, knocking on doors, gathering raw information, interviewing sources, and digging through documents. These facts are then contextualized, packaged into stories, which then move up the chain through editors and producers before finally reaching the anchor, the face of the news, who delivers it to millions of people at home.
And that's the way it is. Friday, March 6th, 1981.
But more than ever before, people don't trust these legacy institutions, the personalities, nor the mediums of traditional news. And the numbers prove it. CNN and MSNBC's primetime ratings recently hit record lows, with some of their shows struggling to even break six figures. And according to Pew Research, almost 4 in 10 US adults under 30 get news from influencers. I mean, when was the last time you met someone under 40 who actually sat down and watched cable or nightly news?
Just scroll through.
Axios, Business Insider.
Oh.
We don't trust any of this. The common man doesn't trust any of this.
Keep going.
ABC News.
Oh, keep going.
New York Times.
Oh, keep going.
The Atlantic.
Oh!
I don't trust any of them.
Oh.
Trust me.
Okay.
I don't trust any of these. We're the common man. We don't trust any of these.
Oof. Mainstream media isn't just losing credibility, it's losing all relevance. But here's the trick. Just because people aren't watching traditional news doesn't mean they aren't consuming it.
We have some news right now. We have breaking news right now. We have some big news right now.
Enter Aaron Parnas, the son of Lev Parnas, a former advisor to Rudy Giuliani. He is part of a new wave of social media journalists who deliver news directly to millions of followers on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, X, and YouTube through short, digestible videos, bypassing traditional distribution channels. But here's the problem. Is this news really independent?
We have some major breaking news right now. The Pope is in critical condition. We have some news right now. Donald Trump has ended congestion pricing in New York, and in doing so said that he is the king. We have some big news right now. Governor Kathy Hochul of New York is considering possibly firing Mayor Eric Adams.
Sound familiar? Well, these stories are all headlines directly pulled from mainstream outlets such as CNN, MSNBC, and traditional network news. So if it wasn't obvious before, it should be now. Aaron Parnas is nothing more than a breaking news machine who is simply regurgitating mainstream news headlines on TikTok. And on top of the lack of original reporting, there's also no follow-up investigation and almost no analysis done in most of his videos. He and the many other so-called independent journalists on social media are simply repackaging what's already been reported and delivering it to you in a different format. But people seem to really love it.
There is one person on this app that when I hear the term breaking news, I have to immediately stop and watch.
I know one thing, that guy Aaron, the guy that's on here doesn't like he eats or sleeps because he's consistently giving the news. I trust him with it. I trust him with the news. I wake up in the morning, get my morning coffee. Hey, Aaron's on, like it's Channel 7. And I tune in.
I think a lot of us can agree that Aaron Parnas is really keeping us informed these days. And so now I've created a new challenge that every time he pops up, we have some major breaking news, I immediately need to stop and do 25 push-ups.
This message is for Aaron Parnas. You are like my hero right now. Thank you for everything that you're doing. And I hope what I'm about to ask is not too invasive, but I was really wondering if I could read your birth chart.
This message is for Aaron Parnas' wife and Miss Parnas only. Listen, girl, I'm going to need you to give our boy a BJ. Okay? You know it. I know it. He deserves it.
Personally, I don't really get it, but people like what they like. So no hate, and it's totally on me to figure out what's appealing and what's not appealing. And I think in this case, the appeal of Aaron and others like Aaron is that he doesn't feel like mainstream media. There is no expensive set. There's no teleprompter. It's just him, his phone, and the news.
And I kind of just want to hear from you what your diagnosis is of why the information landscape is just so noisy and stressful right now, and why people do feel comfort in coming to your platforms.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that especially post-election, there is a real distrust in kind of what people talk about mainstream media, legacy media, right? Like your CNNs of the world, your MSNBCs of the world. A lot of people just kind of felt distrustful of what they were getting from mainstream media, not necessarily the information, but rather who was giving it. So I really felt as though there was kind of this like gap where people just were no longer excited about news. And I wanted to get people excited again, especially young people.
Once again, I don't agree necessarily, but it would appear to me that it's not the news that people don't trust. It's the association with the legacy institutions like CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, New York Times that people don't like. And if that is true, that's a huge win for the establishment and a monster disappointment for those who wish to see fundamental change in news and journalism, because the reality is Aaron Parnas and most independent media are just extensions of the same corporate media machine they claim to oppose, but with a new look. The game may have changed, but the rules haven't. Whether you're on CNN or TikTok, the stories that get told and the ones that get buried still come down to one thing: who's paying for it? And mainstream media, or probably more accurately, corporate media, has always relied on corporate sponsors to make money. All of these industries have a vested interest, billions of dollars, if not trillions worth of interest in controlling the public narrative, from topics ranging from labor to healthcare, all the way to war. So what's the solution? Because from the looks of it, mainstream media may be quote unquote dead, but its influence is far from gone. It's simply been outsourced. My personal prediction is that instead of traditional anchors in corporate newsrooms, we're going to see a proliferation of an indirect ecosystem of independent talking heads. They won't necessarily be employed by CNN, MSNBC, or the New York Times, but they won't really need to be, as long as they still rely on the same reporting from these institutions. All the remnants from mainstream media will remain, and unless something drastically changes, this cycle will just repeat over and over again. True independent media isn't about new faces spewing the same narratives. It's about doing the actual work. It's about asking the tough questions, holding the powerful accountable. It's about doing the kind of journalism that takes hours, days, even months to do. And it's up to us to demand that change. And that is all for me this week. Let me know who it is that you trust to deliver the news and what your thoughts are about the changing media landscape. And I just want to be clear, this is not an Aaron Parnas hate video. I think he was just one of the most popular figures that I've seen, so I'm using him as just an example, but there are many others. So tell me who you like, who you don't like. If I'm one of those people that you like and you want to support my journalism, please take a second to like this video, share with as many people as you can, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you can be the first to know when my next video drops. As always, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.